My loving audience take my love and subscribes my channel. And dive B&B stories. Has Rich Forrester finally reached his absolute breaking point? Or is this just another explosion in a cycle of violence that's been spinning for decades? You really have to wonder when a family feud stops being soap opera drama and starts becoming a genuine tragedy for everyone involved. We're standing right at the edge of a cliff today, looking down into the absolute wreckage of the Forrester-Spencer alliance, and honestly, it's a total miracle that anyone is still standing at all. If you've been following the latest madness at the Forrester estate, you know that things have shifted from corporate backstabbing to actual blood on the floor, and the fallout is going to be massive. Think about the scene for a second. You've got the sprawling Forrester estate, which is usually this big symbol of elegance, prestige, and old money stability. But right now it feels more like a war room or a hospital wing than a home. Eric Forrester, the man who built this entire empire of beauty, is reduced to railing against the fact that his grandson is being used as a literal punching bag. Eric is fussing over RJ, and while that looks like grandfatherly love on the surface, there's a much darker psychological undercurrent here. It's not just about a single punch at a beach house. It's about the cumulative weight of the Spencers systematically dismantling the Forresters' world piece by piece. Why did this happen? Well, think about it. The Spencers, especially Katie and Bill, lured Hope away to start that rival fashion house, Logan. Then you have Will Spencer, the heir to the Spencer throne, physically assaulting RJ not once but twice. To Eric and Ridge, this feels like a coordinated attack. They're getting hit in the pocketbook with the new fashion line, and they're getting hit in the face at the bikini bar in the beach house. Ridge isn't just reacting to a bruised face here. He's reacting to the feeling that his family's legacy is being stolen right out from under him. Eric is a man divided right now. He's playing the role of the protective leader, fussing over RJ like he's trying to physically stitch the family back together with his own hands. But look at what he's not saying. He won't talk about Donna. He admits there's a big strain on his marriage, and that should be a massive red flag for anyone watching. Why won't he discuss her? It's likely because Donna is a Logan. Her sisters, Katie and Brooke, and her niece Hope, are the ones currently at war with Forrester Creations. Eric is stuck in a classic loyalty bind. He loves his wife, but he hates what her family is doing to his life's work. By shutting down the conversation, he's trying to protect the one thing he has left, his marriage, even though the foundations are clearly cracking. He's choosing silence over conflict because at his age, another divorce might feel like a final defeat. How does he feel internally? He has to be feeling totally isolated. Eric has always been the one people turn to, but right now, his support system is the very source of his pain. When he grunts at Ridge, asking if he even has to inquire where he's going, it's not just a question. It's a weary acknowledgement that revenge is the only language his family knows how to speak anymore. I honestly think Eric is right to be distressed, but is he wrong to coddle RJ this much? By making RJ the victim, he's inadvertently fueling Ridge's fire. If Eric really wanted peace, he'd be calling Bill Spencer for a truce, not letting Ridge march out the door to start a brawl. Then we have Ridge. Ridge grunts and Ridge declares war. He's completely bypassed being a father and stepped right into the role of a general. When he says the Spencers won't get away with it, he isn't talking about a legal resolution or a therapy session for Will. He's talking about retribution. Why is Ridge so explosive right now? You have to look at the history. Ridge has always been a man of action, often impulsive and frequently violent, when he feels his territory is threatened. But there's a deeper trigger here, Brooke Logan. We know they are complaining about Brooke having to go away to a wellness retreat because she can't face her own daughter, Hope. In Ridge's mind, the Spencers haven't just hurt his son. They've broken the woman he loves. To Ridge, Bill Spencer is the architect of all this misery. This is classic projection. Ridge is projecting his guilt over not being able to protect Brooke onto Bill. If he can end the madness by confronting Bill, he doesn't have to face the fact that his own daughter, Steffi, and Brooke's daughter, Hope, are the ones truly driving this wedge between the families. It's always easier to punch a rival than to fix a fractured family, isn't it? Ridge is framing this as a Spencer versus Forrester war to simplify a really complex emotional mess. If it's a war, then his anger is justified. If it's just a family disagreement, then he's just an angry man yelling at his neighbors. He needs this to be a war to keep his identity as the family protector. But let's be honest, Ridge is being a bit of a hypocrite here. He's lecturing Elektra about Will's dangerous temper while he's literally grabbing his coat to go assault Bill. He's continuing the exact cycle of violence he claims to hate. Does he ever stop to think that he needs to sit down and actually listen to RJ? Speaking of RJ, he's in such a weird spot. He's the one with the ice pack, the one who was repeatedly punched in the head and stomach. Yet, he's the one telling his dad that he's fine. He's trying to de-escalate the whole thing. RJ is likely feeling pretty humiliated. It's not just because he lost a fight. It's because his father and grandfather are treating him like he's made of glass. There's a hidden layer of shame there. He couldn't protect Elektra, and now he can't even protect himself from his own father's protection. RJ is acting like the peacekeeper. He knows that if he feeds Ridge's anger, someone is going to end up in jail or the hospital. He's trying to act like an adult by refusing to let Ridge fight his battles, but he's being overruled by the Forrester ego. RJ is the new generation caught in the gears of the old generation's grudges. He doesn't just see a Spencer when he looks at Will. He sees a cousin who is clearly spiraling out of control. He's the only one looking at the human side of this while Ridge and Eric are looking at the corporate and tribal sides. I have a lot of respect for RJ in this scene, but he might be being a little naive if he thinks Bill Spencer is going to just let this go. And then there's the ghost of Brooke Logan hanging over the entire house. She's at a wellness retreat to grieve the betrayal of her daughter Hope. The Forresters are complaining about this, which is such an interesting way to put it. Why is Brooke away? Because that showdown with Hope was so toxic that she literally could not stay in the same city as her daughter. Hope told her she felt valued and respected at Logan, which implies she never felt that way at Forrester Creations. That had to break Brooke's heart. Her entire identity is tied up in being the queen of Forrester right alongside Ridge. Brooke isn't just away. She's in a total emotional collapse. She feels like she's lost her daughter to the dark side. The way the Forresters complain about her being gone shows that she is the glue holding them together. Without her, Ridge has no North Star, and he just reverts to his most primitive, aggressive self. Brooke's retreat is an act of self-preservation, but the Forresters just see it as another wound the Spencers inflicted on them. They aren't asking why Hope left. They are just blaming the Spencers for luring her away. That lack of self-reflection is exactly why this war is never going to end. Don't you think Brooke needs to realize that Hope had every right to leave a place where she felt sidelined? Now we have to look at what Ridge is actually walking into. He's heading to confront Bill, but the real issue is Will Spencer. The rumors say Will is actually starting to take some accountability. He confessed to Katie that he doesn't know why he gets like this. Will is clearly terrified of himself. He sees a pattern of anger that he can't explain. This isn't just a kid acting out. It's a mental health crisis. He's realizing he's becoming just like the worst version of his father, Bill, and he absolutely hates it. Ridge is going to Bill's office to demand an end to the madness, but he's attacking the wrong person. Bill is probably going to be super defensive. He'll likely tell Ridge that RJ should just learn how to defend himself. This is only going to make the violence worse because neither father is willing to admit that their son is hurting. If Ridge actually cared about peace, he'd be talking to Katie about getting Will some professional help. Instead, he's heading to Bill's office for a fistfight. Ridge is just as out of control as Will is. He just wears a more expensive suit. The scene at the estate ends with a classic cliffhanger. Ridge grabs his coat and he's gone. Eric's grunt is the final period on a scene that feels like the start of a very dark chapter. This is going to get so much worse before it gets better. Ridge is walking into Bill Spencer's domain with several bones to pick. He's going to bring up the fashion line, the thievery, and the physical assault on his son. Bill isn't going to apologize. He's going to gloat about how the new royalty in the fashion world is the Logans. I'm predicting that this confrontation is going to lead to a serious physical fight between Ridge and Bill. But the real damage is going to happen at home. When Eric finds out that Ridge has escalated the war, that strain on his marriage with Donna is going to become a total break. Donna can't stay with a man whose son is physically attacking her family's supporters. We might be looking at the divorce of the Titans. Eric and Donna are headed for a separation because that Logan versus Forrester line has been drawn in permanent ink. What happens to Will in all of this? If Ridge attacks Bill, Will's guilt over what he did to RJ is going to turn into resentment toward the Forresters. Instead of getting the help he needs, he'll probably lean into that Spencer rage to protect his dad. And the Logan fashion line? It'll probably succeed out of pure spite, which will only bankrupt the Forresters even more emotionally. We are seeing a total regression to type here. In times of high stress, these people are losing all their nuance and going back to their basic instincts. Ridge is the hunter. Eric is the protector. Bill is the conqueror. There's just no room for diplomacy left. Think back to that room at the Forrester estate for a second. You have to look at the history these people are carrying. When Eric rails about the Spencers, he's not just talking about Will and Bill. He's talking about a rivalry that goes back to the very beginning of the show. Eric is distressed partly because he doesn't have his matriarch, Stephanie, to guide him anymore. Stephanie was the one who knew how to fight dirty, to protect the Forrester name. Eric is trying to fill that void, but he's an artist, not a warrior. His fussing over RJ is a desperate attempt to be the nurturer that the family is missing while Brooke is away. Eric is suffering from some serious legacy anxiety. He looks at RJ and sees the potential end of the Forrester line as he knows it. If RJ is getting knocked out and Hope has joined the dark side, who is left to carry the torch? This anxiety is coming out as railing against the Spencers because they represent the force that is diluting everything he built. And then there's Ridge's savior complex. Ridge has always seen himself as the prince of Forrester creations, even after he found out he wasn't biologically a Forrester. That discovery just made him cling harder to the name. When he tells Eric he's going to put an end to the madness, he's trying to prove his worth as a true Forrester. Ridge is basically performing what he thinks a Forrester should be. To him, being a Forrester means winning. It means being the alpha male in every room. He sees Bill Spencer's success as a direct insult to his father, Eric. This isn't a rational business problem. It's a biological need to defend the hive. But why is Eric so upset with Donna specifically? Look at the Logan sisters. Katie is the one who started Logan and lured Hope away. Brooke is the mother of the rival show star. Donna is the middle sister who is literally sleeping in the enemy's bed. Eric looks at Donna and sees the faces of the women who are destroying his company. He has to feel under siege in his own house. Every time Donna tries to comfort him, he probably sees it as some kind of Logan tactic. He can't talk about her because doing that would be admitting that his personal life is just as messed up as his professional life. That big strain is the realization that love might not be enough to bridge the gap between two warring fashion houses. And what about Will Spencer? The rumors say he didn't tell Elektra about the Logan business secrets. This suggests that Bill and Katie were using their own son as a pawn in their corporate war. Will was carrying the weight of a multi-million-dollar secret, and that pressure just blew the lid off his temper. Will is probably experiencing parental alignment syndrome. He felt like he had to choose between his parents' war and his girlfriend's trust. When RJ busts in and demands that he let Elektra go, RJ becomes the physical target for all of Will's internal stress. RJ wasn't just a rival in that moment. He was a reminder of Will's own failures. And the fact that Brooke is at a wellness retreat is a huge signal. She couldn't handle the showdown where Hope told her that Ridge always comes first. Hope finally stood up to her mother and knocked her off her high horse. This is a massive shift in the power dynamic of the show. The Forresters complaining about Brooke being gone is actually a form of victim blaming. They're mad she isn't there to handle the Logan side of the war, but they won't acknowledge that their own company culture, the one led by Steffi and Ridge, is what drove Hope away in the first place. Brooke is a casualty of a war she didn't even want, but she's being blamed for not being strong enough to stop it. As Ridge heads to that door, he's carrying all of this weight. He's carrying Eric's anxiety, Brooke's broken heart, and his own alpha insecurity. When he gets to Bill's office, he isn't looking for a chat. He's looking for a fight. Bill Spencer is not the type of man to back down. When Ridge takes his anger out on him, Bill is probably going to point out that Brooke is the one who slapped his wife and destroyed Logan property. He's going to turn the war right back on Ridge. It's going to be a verbal chess match that likely ends in physical violence. Both of these men are trapped in a machismo loop. They think that to be a leader, they have to dominate the other guy. Neither of them is thinking about the impact this has on RJ or Will. They're fighting for a fashion royalty title, while they lose their actual families. How will handle his unexplained pattern of anger? Is Rich Forrester finally at his absolute breaking point? Or is this just another explosion in a cycle of violence that's been spinning for decades? You really have to wonder when a family feud stops being soap opera drama and starts becoming a genuine tragedy for everyone involved. We are standing right at the edge of a cliff today, looking down into the absolute wreckage of the Forrester-Spencer alliance, and honestly it's a total miracle that anyone is still standing at all. If you've been following the latest madness at the Forrester estate, you know that things have shifted from corporate backstabbing to actual blood on the floor, and the fallout is going to be massive. Think about the scene for a second. You've got the sprawling Forrester estate, which is usually this big symbol of elegance, prestige, and old money stability. But right now it feels more like a war room or a hospital wing than a home. Eric Forrester, the man who built this entire empire of beauty, is reduced to railing against the fact that his grandson is being used as a literal punching bag. Eric is fussing over RJ, and while that looks like grandfatherly love on the surface, there's a much darker psychological undercurrent here. It's not just about a single punch at a beach house. It's about the cumulative weight of the Spencers systematically dismantling the Forresters' world piece by piece. Why did this happen? Well, think about it. The Spencers, especially Katie and Bill, lured Hope away to start that rival fashion house, Logan. Then you have Will Spencer, the heir to the Spencer throne, physically assaulting RJ not once but twice. To Eric and Ridge, this feels like a coordinated attack. They're getting hit in the pocketbook with the new fashion line, and they're getting hit in the face at the bikini bar in the beach house. Ridge isn't just reacting to a bruised face here. He's reacting to the feeling that his family's legacy is being stolen right out from under him. What we're seeing at the Forrester estate is the death of diplomacy. When it's got to stop, becomes the battle cry for a man who is about to start another fight. The words don't mean anything anymore. The madness isn't the Spencers. It's the inability of these characters to break out of their historical roles. Ridge must be the hero. Eric must be the victim. Bill must be the villain. Until someone like RJ or Will breaks that mold, this war is going to be eternal. The scene at the estate is basically a funeral for peace. That ice pack on RJ's face is a cold reminder that words have failed. The wellness retreat for Brooke is a signal that the emotional price is just too high. And Ridge's coat is the flag of war being unfurled. Eric's distress is the most honest thing in this whole situation. He's the only one who sees the madness for what it really is. A total waste of a life's work. He's railing at the Spencers, but he's really railing at the universe for being so cruel to a man who just wanted to create something beautiful. Now, I really want to hear what you think about all this because this story is splitting the fans right down the middle. Is Ridge right to take matters into his own hands like this? Or is he just an entitled father who can't see that his own family might be part of the problem? Are you Team Forrester or Team Spencer/Logan? Who do you think really started this war? Was it Katie for wanting her own brand? Or was it the Forresters for stilettoing Hope's neck for years? Do you think Will Spencer can actually change? He's finally facing the truth about himself, but will Ridge's war just push him back into his old ways? And what about Donna? Should she leave Eric? If he can't support her sisters and her niece, does she even have a place at the Forrester mansion anymore? Who do you think would win in a real fight, Ridge or Bill? We've seen them lock horns for years, but this time it feels different. Feels personal. If you're enjoying this deep dive into the madness, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're tracking this war day by day. And we've got plenty more analysis coming your way as the Logan fashion show continues to send shockwaves through LA. Do you think Bill is going to laugh in Ridge's face? Or are we about to see another showdown that changes everything? Leave a comment below with your predictions for the Bill and Ridge face-off. The madness is really just getting started, and I can't wait to see what you all have to say. Stay tuned, stay bold, and stay beautiful. And I'll see you in the next breakdown where we'll see if Ridge actually ends the madness, or just makes it 10 times worse.